come on, give me your hand, sir, give me your hand, sir. An early stirrer by the rood. And how doth my good cousin Silence?
Good morrow, good cousin Shallow.
And how doth my cousin your bedfellow, and your fairest daughter, and mine, my goddaughter, Ellen?
Alas, a black ousel, cousin Shallow.
By yea and nay, sir. I dare say my cousin William has become a good scholar. He is at Oxford still, is he not?
Indeed, sir. To make cost.
He must then to the Inns of Court shortly. I was once of Clement's Inn, where I think they will talk of mad Shallow yet.
You were called lusty Shallow then, cousin?
By the mass, I was called anything, and I would have done anything, indeed, too, and roundly too. There was I, and little John Doit of Staffordshire, and Black George Bear, and Francis Pickbone, and Will Squeal, a Cotswold man. You had not 4 such swingebucklers in all the Inns of Court again, and I may say to you, we knew where the Bona-Robers were, and had the best of them all at commandment. Then was Jack Falstaff, now Sir John, a boy, and page to Thomas Mowbray, Duke of Norfolk.
This Sir John, cousin, that comes hither and on about soldiers?
The same Sir John, the very same. I saw him break Scogan's head at the court gate when he was a crack, not thus high. And the very same day did I fight with one Samson Stockfish, a fruiterer, behind Gray's Inn. Shee-shoo, the mad days that I have spent. And to see how many of mine old acquaintance are dead.
We shall all follow, cousin.
Certain, 'tis certain. Very sure, very sure. Death, as the psalmist saith, is certain to all shall die. How a good yoke of bullocks at Stamford Fair.
But troth I was not there.
Death is certain. Is old Double of your town living yet?
Dead, sir.
Jesu, dead. He drew a good bow and dead. He shot a fine shoot. John of Gaunt loved him well, and betted much money on his head. Dead, he would have clapped in the clout at 12 score and carried you a forehand sharp at 14 and 14 and a half. That it would have done a man's heart good to see. How a score of ewes now?
Thereafter, as they be a score of good ewes, maybe worth £10.
And is old Double dead?
Here come 2 of Sir John Falstaff's men, as I think.
Good morrow, honest gentlemen.
I beseech you, which is Justice Shallow?
I am Robert Shallow, sir, a poor esquire of this county and one of the King's Justices of the Peace. What is your good pleasure with me?
My captain, sir, commends him to you. My captain, Sir John Falstaff. A tall gentleman by heaven and a most gallant leader.
He greets me well. Sir, I knew him, a good backsword man. How doth the good knight? May I ask how my lady, his wife, doth?
Sir, pardon, a soldier is better accommodated than with a wife.
It is well said in faith, sir. And it is well said indeed, too. Better accommodated. It is good, yea, indeed is it. Good phrases are surely and ever were very commendable. Accommodated, it comes of accommodo. Very good, a good phrase.
Pardon, sir, I have heard the word. Phrase call you it. By this day I know not the phrase, but I will maintain the word with my sword. To be a soldier-like word and a word of exceeding good command, by heaven. Accommodated. That is when a man is, as they say, accommodated. When a man is being whereby he may be thought to be accommodated. Which is an excellent thing.
It is very just. Look, here comes good Sir John. Give me your good hand, give me your worship's good hand. By my troth, you like well, and bear your years very well. Welcome, good Sir John.
I am glad to see you well, good Master Robert Shallow. Master Surecard, as I think?
No, Sir John, it is my cousin, Silence, in commission with me.
Good Master Silence, it well befits you should be of the peace.
Your good worship is welcome.
Fie, this is hot weather, gentlemen. Have you provided me here 6 of sufficient men?
Marry, have we, sir. Will you sit?
Let me see them, I beseech you.
Where's the robe? Where's the robe? Where's the robe? Let me see. So. Marry, sir. Ralph Mouldy. Let them appear as I call. Let them do so, let them do so. Let me see. Where is Mouldy?
Here, if it please you.
What think you, Sir John? A good-limbed fellow, young, strong, and of good friends.
Is thy name Mouldy?
Yea, if it please you.
'Tis the more time thou wert used.
Most excellent, in faith. Things that are mouldy lack use. Very singular good, in faith. Well said, Sir John, very well said.
Prick him.
I was pricked well enough before, if you could have let me alone. My old dame will be undone now for one to do her husbandry and her drudgery. You need not to have pricked me. There are other men fitter to go out than I.
Go to, peace, Mouldy. You shall go, Mouldy. It is time you were spent.
Spent?
Peace, fellow, peace, stand aside. Look where you are. For the other, Sir John, let me see. Simon Shadow?
Aye, marry, let me have him to sit under. He's like to be a cold soldier.
Where's Shadow?
Here, sir.
Shadow, whose son art thou?
My mother's son, sir.
Thy mother's son. Like enough, and thy father's shadow. So the son of the female is the shadow of the male. It is often so indeed, but not of the father's substance.
Do you like him, Sir John?
A shadow will serve for summer. Prick him, for we have a number of shadows to fill up the muster book.
Thomas Wart?
Where's he?
Here, sir.
Is thy name Wart?
Yes, sir.
Thou'rt a very ragged Wart.
Shall I prick him down, Sir John?
It was superfluous. For his apparel is built upon his back, and the whole frame stands upon pins. Prick him no more.
You can do it, sir. You can do it. I commend you well. Francis Feeble?
Here, sir.
What trade art thou, Feeble?
A woman's tailor, sir.
Shall I prick him, sir?
You may, but if he'd been a man's tailor, he'd have pricked you. Wilt thou make as many holes in an enemy's battle as thou hast done in a woman's petticoat?
I will do my good will, sir. You can have no more.
Well said, good woman's tailor. Well said, courageous Feeble. Thou wilt be as valiant as the wrathful dove, or most magnanimous mouse. Prick the woman's tailor well, Master Shallow. Deep, Master Shallow.
I would Wart might have gone, sir.
I would thou wert a man's tailor, that thou mightst mend him and make him fit to go. I cannot put him to a private soldier that is the leader of so many thousands. Let that suffice, most forcible Feeble.
It shall suffice, sir.
I am bound to thee, reverend Feeble. Who's the next?
Peter Bulcalf of the Green.
Yea, marry, let us see Bulcalf.
Here, sir.
Oh, God, a likely fellow. Come, prick me, Bulcalf, till you roar again.
Oh, Lord, good my Lord, Captain.
What? Dost thou roar before thou pricked?
Oh, Lord, sir, I am a diseased man.
What disease hast thou?
A horse and cold, sir, a cough, sir, which I caught with bringing in the king's affairs upon his coronation day, sir.
Come, thou shalt go to the wars in a gown. We will have away thy cold, and I will take such order that thy friend shall ring for thee. Is here all?
There is 2 more call than your number. You must have but 4 here, sir. And so I pray you go in with me to dinner.
Come, I will go drink with you, but I cannot tarry dinner. I am glad to see you, by my truth, Master Shallow.
Oh, Sir John, do you remember since we lay all night in the windmill in St. George's Field?
No more of that, good Master Shallow. No more of that.
It was a merry night. And is Jane Nightwork alive?
She lives, Master Shallow.
She never could away with me.
Never, never. She would always say she could not abide Master Shallow.
By the mass, I could anger her to the heart. She was then a bona roba. Does she hold her own well?
Old Master Shallow.
She must be old. She cannot choose but be old. Certain she's old. And had Robin Nightwork, my old Nightwork, before I came to Clement's Inn.
That's 55 years ago.
Cousin Silence, that thou hast seen that this night and I have seen. Sir John, said I well?
We have heard the chimes at midnight, Master Shallow.
That we have, that we have. In faith, Sir John, we have. Our watchword was, "Hem, boys, come, let's to dinner. Come, let's to dinner. Jesus, the days that we have seen. Come, come."
Good Master Corporate Bardolph, stand my friend, and here is 4 Harry 10 shillings in French crowns for you. In very truth, sir, I'd as lief be hanged, sir, as go, and yet for mine own part, sir, I do not care, but rather because I am unwilling, and for mine own part have a desire to stay with my friends. Else, sir, I did not care for mine own part so much.
Go to. Stand aside.
Oh.
And good Master Corporal Captain, for my old dame's sake, stand my friend. She hath nobody to do anything about her when I'm gone, and she is old and cannot help herself. You shall have 40, sir.
Go to. Stand aside.
By my troth, I care not. A man can die but once. We owe God a death. I will never bear a base mind. If it be my destiny, so. If it be not, so. No man is too good to serve his prince, and let it go which way it will, he that dies this year is quit for the next.
Well said. Thou art a good fella.
Faith, I will bear no base mind.
Come, sir, which men shall I have?
4 of which you please.
Sir, a word with you. I have £3 to free Mouldy and Bullcalf.
Go to, well.
Come, Sir John, which 4 will you have?
Do you choose for me?
Marry then. Mouldy, Bullcalf, Feeble, and Shadow.
Mouldy and Bullcalf, For you, Mouldy, stay at home till you're past service. And for your part, Bullcalf, grow till you come unto it. I will none of you.
Sir John, do not yourself wrong. They are your likeliest men, and I would have you served with the best.
Will you tell me, Master Shallow, how to choose a man? Care I for the limb, the thews, the stature, bulk and bigger semblance of a man? Give me the spirit, Master Shallow. Where's Wart? You see what a ragged appearance it is? He shall charge you and discharge you with the motion of a pewterous hammer. Come off, along, swifter than he that gibbets on the brewer's bucket. And this same half-faced fellow, Shadow, give me this man. He presents no mark to the enemy. The foeman may with as great aim level at the edge of a penknife. And for a retreat, how swiftly will this feeble, the woman's tailor, run off. Oh, give me the spare men, and spare me the great ones. Put me a caliver into Wart's hand, Bardolph.
Hold, Wart. Travers. Thus.
Come, manage me a caliver. So, very well. Go to, very good, exceeding good. Oh, give me always a little lean old chopped board shot. Well said, i' faith, Wart, thou'rt a good scab. Hold, there's a tester for thee.
He's not his craft's master. He does not do it right. I remember at Mile End Green when I lay at Clement's Inn. I was then Sir Dagonet in Arthur's show. There was a little quiver fellow, and he would manage you his piece thus. And he were about, and come you in, rat-ta-ta, would he say, bounce, would he say, and away again would he go, and again would he come. I shall never see such a fellow.
These fellows will do well, Master Shallow. God keep you, Master Silence. I will not use many words with you. Fare you well, gentlemen both. I thank you. I must a dozen mile tonight. Bardolph, give the soldiers coats.
Sir John, the Lord bless you. God prosper your affairs. God send us peace. As you return, visit my house. Let our old acquaintance be renewed. Peradventure, I will with you to the court.
For God, I would you would, Master Shallow.
No, too, I have spoken a word. God keep you.
Fare you well, gentlemen. On, Bardolph, lead the men away. As I return, I will fetch off these justices. I do see the bottom of Justice Shallow. Lord, how subject we old men are to this vice of lying. This same starved Justice hath done nothing but prate to me of the wildness of his youth and the feats he hath done about Turnbull Street, and every third word a lie, duer paid to the hearer than the Turk's tribute. I do remember him at Clement's Inn, like a man made after supper of a cheese paring. When he was naked, he was for all the world like a forked radish. with a head fantastically carved upon it with a knife. He was so forlorn that his dimensions, to any thick sight, were invincible. He was the very genius of famine, yet lecherous as a monkey, and the whores called him Mandrake. He came ever in the rearward of the fashion, and sung those tunes to the overscotched hussifs that he heard the carmen whistle, and sway they were his fancies or his good knights. And now is this Vice's dagger become a squire, and talks as familiarly of John o' Gaunt as if he'd been sworn brother to him. And I'll be sworn he never saw him but once in the tilt-yard, and then he burst his head for crowding among the marshal's men. I saw it, and told John o' Gaunt he'd beat his own name, for you might have trussed him and all his apparel into an eel skin. The case of a tribble hautboy was a mansion for him, a court. And now hath he land and beefs. Well, I will be acquainted with him if I return. And it shall go hard, but I will make him a philosopher's 2 stones to me. If the young dace be a bait for the old pike, I see no reason in the law of nature, but I may snap at him. Let time shape, and there an end.
What is this forest called?
'Tis Gold-tree Forest, and shall please your grace.
Here stand, my lords, and send discoverers forth to know the numbers of our enemies.
We have sent forth already.
'Tis well done. My friends and brethren in these great affairs, I must acquaint you that I have received new dated letters from Northumberland. Their cold intent, tenor, and substance thus. Here doth he wish his person, with such powers as might hold sortance with his quality, the which he could not levy. Whereupon he is retired to ripe his growing fortunes to Scotland, and concludes in hearty prayers that your attempts may overlive the hazard and fearful meeting of their opposite.
Thus do the hopes we have in him touch ground and dash themselves to pieces.
Now what news?
West of this forest, scarcely off a mile, in goodly form comes on the enemy. And by the ground they hide, I judge their number upon or near the rate of 30,000.
The just proportion that we gave them out. Let us sway on and face them in the field.
What well-appointed leader fronts us here?
I think it is my Lord of Westmoreland.
Health and fair greeting from our General, the Prince, Lord John, and Duke of Lancaster.
Say on, my Lord of Westmoreland, in peace, what doth concern your coming?
Then, my lord, unto your grace do I in chief address the substance of my speech. If that rebellion came like itself, in base and abject routs, led on by bloody youth, guarded with rags, and countenanced by boys and beggary, I say, if damned commotion so appear in his true native and most proper shape, you, reverend father, and these noble lords had not been here to dress the ugly form of base and bloody insurrection with your fair honours. You, Lord Archbishop, whose see is by a civil peace maintained, whose beard the silver hand of peace hath touched, whose learning and good letters peace hath tutored, whose white investments figure innocence, the dove and very blessed spirit of peace. Wherefore do you so ill translate yourself out of the speech of peace that bears such grace into the harsh and boisterous tongue of war, turning your books to graves, your ink to blood, your pens to lances, and your tongue divine to a loud trumpet and a point of war?
Wherefore do I this? So the question stands. Briefly to this end, we are all diseased, and with our surfeiting and wanton hours have brought ourselves into a burning fever, and we must bleed for it, of which disease our late King Richard, being infected, died. But, my most noble Lord of Westmoreland, I take not on me here as a physician, nor do I, as an enemy to peace, troop in the throngs of military men, but rather show a while like fearful war to diet rank minds sick of happiness, and purge the obstructions which begin to stop our very veins of life. Hear me more plainly. I have in equal balance justly weighed what wrongs our arms may do, what wrongs we suffer, and find our griefs heavier than our offences. We see which way the stream of time doth run, and are enforced from our most quiet there by the rough torrent of occasion. and have the summary of all our griefs, when time shall serve, to show in articles, which long ere this we offered to the king, and might by no suit gain our audience. When we are wronged, and would unfold our griefs, we are denied access unto his person, even by those men that most have done us wrong. The dangers of the days but newly gone, whose memory is written on the earth with yet appearing blood, and the examples of every minute's instant present now, hath put us in these ill-beseeming arms, not to break peace or any branch of it, but to establish here a peace indeed, concurring both in name and quality.
When ever yet was your appeal denied? Wherein have you been galled by the king? What peer hath been suborned to grate on you, that you should seal this lawless bloody book of forged rebellion with a seal divine, and consecrate commotion's bitter edge?
My brother general, the commonwealth to brother-born and household cruelty I make my quarrel in particular.
There is no need of any such redress, or if there were, it not belongs to you.
Why not to him in part, and to us all that feel the bruises of the days before, and suffer the condition of these times to lay a heavy and unequal hand upon our honours?
Oh, my good Lord Mowbray, construe the times to their necessities, and you shall say indeed it is the time, and not the king, that doth you injuries. Yet for your part, it not appears to me, either from the king or in the present time, that you should have an inch of any ground to build a grief on. Were you not restored to all the Duke of Norfolk's seigneuries, your noble and right well-remembered fathers?
What thing in honour had my father lost that need to be revived and breathed in me? The king that loved him as the state stood then was perforce compelled to banish him. And then that Henry Bolingbroke and he, being mounted and both roused in their seats, their neighing coursers daring of the spur, their armoured staves in charge, their beavers down, their eyes of fire sparkling through sights of steel, and the loud trumpet blowing them together, then, when there was nothing could have stayed my father from the breast of Bolingbroke. Oh, when the king did throw his warder down, his own life hung upon the staff he threw. Then threw he down himself and all their lives that by indictment and by dint of sword have since miscarried under Bolingbroke.
You speak, Lord Mowbray, now, you know not what. The Earl of Hereford was reputed then in England the most valiant gentleman. Who knows on whom fortune would then have smiled? But if your father had been victor there, he ne'er had borne it out of Coventry. For all the country in a general voice cried hate upon him, and all their prayers and love were set on Hereford, whom they doted on and blessed and graced, indeed more than the king. But this is mere digression from my purpose. Here come I from our princely general to know your griefs, to tell you from his grace that he will give you audience, and wherein it shall appear that your demands are just, you shall enjoy them, everything set off that might so much as think you enemies.
But he hath forced us to compel this offer, and it proceeds from policy, not love.
Mowbray, you overween to take it so. This offer comes from mercy, not from fear. For lo, within a ken our army lies, upon mine honour, all too confident to give admittance to a thought of fear. Our battle is more full of names than yours, our men more perfect in the use of arms, our armour all as strong, our cause the best. Then reason will our hearts should be as good. Say you not then our offer is compelled?
Well, by my will we will admit no parley.
That argues but the shame of your offence. A rotten case abides no handling.
Hath the Prince John a full commission, in very ample virtue of his father, to hear and absolutely to determine of what conditions we shall stand upon?
That is intended in the general's name. I muse you make so slight a question.
Then take, my Lord of Westmoreland, this schedule, for this contains our general grievances. Each several article herein redressed all members of our cause, both here and hence, that are insinued to this action, acquitted by a true substantial form, and present execution of our wills to us and to our purposes confined, we come within our awful banks again, and knit our powers to the arm of peace.
This will I show the general. Please you, lords, in sight of both our battles we may meet at either end in peace, which God so frame, or to the place of difference call the swords which must decide it.
My lord, we will do so.
There is a thing within my bosom tells me that no conditions of our peace can stand.
Fear you not that if we can make our peace upon such large terms and so absolute as our conditions shall consist upon, our peace shall stand as firm as rocky mountains.
Aye, but our valuation shall be such that every slight and false derived cause, yea, every idle, nice, and wanton reason shall to the king taste of this action. That were our royal faiths martyrs in love, we shall be winnowed with so rough a wind that even our corn shall seem as light as chaff, and good from bad find no partition.
No, no, my lord. Note this. The king is weary of dainty and such picking grievances, for he hath found to end one doubt by death revives two greater in the heirs of life, and therefore will he wipe his tables clean and keep no telltale to his memory that may repeat in history his loss to new remembrance. For full well he knows he cannot so precisely weed this land as his misdoubts present occasion. His foes are so enrooted with his friends that plucking to unfix an enemy, he doth unfasten so and shake a friend. So that this land, like an offensive wife, that hath enraged him on to offer strokes, as he is striking, holds his infant up, and hangs resolved correction in the arm that was upreared to execution.
Besides, the king hath wasted all his rods on late offenders, that he now doth lack the very instruments of chastisement, so that his power, like to a fangless lion, may offer, but not hold.
It is very true. And therefore be assured, my good Lord Marshal, if we do now make our atonement well, our peace will, like a broken limb united, grow stronger for the breaking.
Be it so. Here is returned my lord of Westmoreland.
The prince is here at hand. Pleaseth your lordship to meet his grace, just distance between our armies.
Your grace of York, in God's name then, set forward.
Before, and greet his grace, my lord, we come.
Good day to you, gentle Lord Archbishop, and so to you, Lord Hastings, and to all. My Lord of York, it better showed with you when that your flock, assembled by the bell, encircled you to hear with reverence your exposition on the holy text, and now to see you here an iron man, cheering a rout of rebels with your drum, turning the word to sword and life to death, that man that sits within a monarch's heart and ripens in the sunshine of his favour, would he abuse the countenance of the king? Alack, what mischiefs might he set abroach in shadow of such greatness? With you, Lord Bishop, it is even so. Who hath not heard it spoken, how deep you were within the books of God? To us, the speaker in his parliament. To us, the imagined voice of God himself, the very opener and intelligencer between the grace, the sanctities of heaven, and our dull workings. Oh, who shall believe but you misuse the reverence of your place, employ the countenance and grace of heaven as a false favourite doth his prince's name in deeds dishonourable? You have taken up, under the counterfeited zeal of God, the subjects of his substitute, my father, and both against the peace of heaven and him have here upsworn them.
Good my lord of Lancaster, I am not here against your father's peace, but, as I told my lord of Westmoreland, the time disorder doth in common sense crowd us and crush us to this monstrous form to hold our safety up. I sent your grace the parcels and particulars of our grief, the which have been with scorn shoved from the court, whereon this hydra son of war is born, whose dangerous eyes may well be charmed asleep with grant of our most just and right desires, and true obedience of this madness cured, stoop tamely to the foot of majesty.
If not, we ready are to try our fortunes to the last man.
And though we here fall down, we have supplies to second our attempt. If they miscarry, theirs shall second them. And so success of mischief shall be born, and heir from heir shall hold this quarrel up, whiles England shall have generation.
You are too shallow, Hastings. Much too shallow to sound the bottom of the after times.
Pleaseth your grace to answer them directly how far forth you do like their articles.
I like them all, and do allow them well, and swear here, by the honour of my blood, my father's purposes have been mistook, and some about him have too lavishly rested his meaning and authority. My lord, these griefs shall be with speed redressed. Upon my soul they shall. If this may please you, discharge your powers unto their several counties, as we will ours, and here, between the armies, let's drink together friendly, and embrace, that all their eyes may bear those tokens home of our restored love and amity.
I take your princely word for these redresses.
I give it you, and will maintain my word, and thereupon I drink unto your grace.
Go, Captain, and deliver to the army this news of peace. Let them have pay and part. I know it will well please them. Aye thee, Captain.
To you, my noble lord of Westmoreland.
I pledge your grace, and if you knew what pains I have bestowed to breed this present peace, you would drink freely. But my love to you shall show itself more openly hereafter.
I do not doubt you.
I am glad of it. Health to my lord and gentle cousin Mowbray.
You wish me health in very happy season, for I am on the sudden something ill.
Against ill chances men are ever merry, but heaviness foreruns the good event.
Therefore be merry, coz, since sudden sorrow serves to say thus, some good thing comes tomorrow.
Believe me, I am passing light in spirit.
So much the worse if your own rule be true.
The word of peace is rendered. Hark how they shout.
This had been cheerful after victory.
A peace is of the nature of a conquest, for then both parties nobly are subdued, and neither party loser.
Go, my lord, and let our army be discharged too. And good my lord, so please you, let our trains march by us, that we may peruse the men we should have coped withal.
Go, good Lord Hastings, and ere they be dismissed, let them march by.
I trust, lords, we shall lie tonight together. Now, cousin, wherefore stands our army still?
The leaders, having charge from you to stand, will not go off until they hear you speak.
They know their duties.
My lord, our army is dispersed already. Like youthful steers unyoked, they took their course east, west, north, south, or like a school broke up, each hurries towards his home and sporting place.
Good tidings, my lord Hastings, for the which I do arrest thee, traitor, of high treason. And you, Lord Archbishop, and you, Lord Mowbray, of capital treason, I attach you both.
Is this proceeding just and honourable?
Is your assembly so?
Will you thus break your faith?
I pawned thee none. I promised you redress of these same grievances whereof you did complain, which by mine honour I will perform with a most Christian care. But for you, rebels, look to taste the due meat for rebellion and such acts as yours. Most shallowly did you these arms commence, fondly brought here and foolishly sent hence. Strike up our drums, pursue the scattered stray. God, and not we, have safely fought today. Some guard these traitors to the block of death, treason's true bed, and yield her up of breath.
What's your name, sir? Of what condition are you? And of what place I pray?
I am a knight, sir, and my name is Coleville of the Dane.
Well, then, Colville is your name, and knight is your degree, and your place the Dale. Colville shall be still your name, a traitor your degree, and the dungeon your place, a place deep enough. So shall you be still Colville of the Dale.
Are you not Sir John Falstaff?
As good a man as he, sir, whoe'er I am. Do ye yield, sir, or shall I sweat for you? If I do sweat, they are the drops of thy lovers, and they weep for thy death. Therefore, rouse up fear and trembling, and do observance to my mercy.
I think you are Sir John Falstaff, and in that thought yield me.
I have a whole school of tongues in this belly of mine, and not a tongue of them all speaks any other word but my name. So I had but a belly of any indifferency. I was simply the most active fellow in Europe. My womb undoes me. Here comes our general.
The heat is past. Follow no farther now.
Call in the powers, good cousin Westmoreland. Now, Falstaff, where have you been all this while? When everything is ended, then you come. These tardy tricks of yours will, on my life, one time or other, break some gallows back.
I would be sorry, my lord, but it should be thus. I never knew yet but rebuke and check was the reward of valour. Do you think me a swallow, an arrow, or a bullet? Have I in my poor and old motion the expedition of thought? I have speeded hither with the very extremest inch of possibility. I have founded 90 and odd posts, and here, travel-tainted as I am, have in my pure and immaculate valour taken Sir John Colville of the Dale, a most furious knight and valorous enemy. But what of that? He saw me and yielded, that I may justly say with the hook-nosed fellow of Rome, I came, saw, and overcame.
It was more of his courtesy than your deserving.
I know not that. Here he is, and here I yield him. And I beseech your grace, let it be booked with the rest of this day's deeds. Or by the Lord, I will have it in a particular ballad else, with mine own picture on the top of it, Colville kissing my foot. To the which course, if I be enforced, if you do not all show like gilt tuppences to me, and I in the clear sky of fame, or shine you as much as the full moon doth the cinders of the element, which show like pins' heads to her, believe not the word of the noble. Therefore let me have right, and let desert mount.
Thine's too heavy to mount.
Let it shine then.
Thine's too thick to shine.
Let it do something, my good lord, that may do me good, and call it what you will.
Is thy name Colville?
It is, my lord.
A famous rebel art thou, Colville?
And a famous true subject took him.
I am, my lord, but as my betters are that led me hither. Had they been ruled by me, you should have won them dearer than you have.
I know not how they sold themselves, but thou, like a kind fellow, gavest thyself away gratis, and I thank thee for thee.
And now have you left pursuit?
Retreat is made and execution stayed.
Send Colville with his confederates to York, to present execution. Blunt, lead him hence, and see you guard him sure. And now dispatch we toward the court, my lords. I hear the king my father is sore sick. Our news shall go before us to his majesty, which cousin you shall bear to comfort him, and we with sober speed will follow you.
My lord, I beseech you, give me leave to go through Gloucestershire. And when you come to court, stand, my good lord, pray, in your good report.
Fare you well, Falstaff. I, in my condition, shall better speak of you than you deserve.
I would you had but the wit. 'Twere better than your dukedom. Good faith, this same young sober-blooded boy doth not love me, nor a man cannot make him laugh. But that's no marvel. He drinks no wine. There's never any of these demure boys come to any proof, for thin drink doth so overcool their blood, and making many fish meals, that they fall into a kind of male green sickness, and then when they marry they get wenches. They're generally fools and cowards, which some of us should be too, but for inflammation. A good sherry sack hath a twofold operation in it. It ascends me into the brain, dries me there all the foolish and dull and crudy vapours which environ it, makes it apprehensive, quick, forgative, full of nimble, fiery and delectable shapes, which delivered o'er to the voice, the tongue, which is the birth, becomes excellent wit. The second property of your excellent sherries is the warming of the blood, which before cold and settled left the liver white and pale, which is the badge of pusillanimity and cowardice. But the sherris warms it, and makes it course from the inwards to the parts extreme. It illumineth the face, which, as a beacon, gives warning to all the rest of this little kingdom, man, to arm, And then the vital commoners and inland petty spirits muster me all to their captain the Hart, who, great and puffed up with his retinue, doth any deed of courage. And this valour comes of Sherris, so that skill in the weapon is nothing without sack, for that sets it a work, and learning a mere hoard of gold kept by a devil, till sack commences it and sets it in act and use. Hereof comes it that Prince Harry is valiant. For the cold blood he did naturally inherit of his father, he hath, like lean, sterile, and bare land, manured, husbanded, and tilled, with excellent endeavour of drinking good and good store of fertile Sherris, that he's become very hot and valiant. If I had 1,000 sons, the first humane principle I would teach them should be to forswear thin potations and to addict themselves to sack. How now, Bardolph?
The army is discharged all and gone.
Let them go. I'll through Gloucestershire, and there will I visit Master Robert Shallow, Esquire. I have him already tempering between my finger and my thumb, and shortly will I seal with him. Come away!
God doth give successful end to this debate that bleedeth at our doors, we will our youth lead on to higher fields, and draw no swords but what are sanctified. Our navy is addressed, our power collected, our substitutes and absence well invested, and everything lies level to our wish. Only we want a little personal strength, and pause us till these rebels now afoot come underneath the yoke of government.
Both which we doubt not but your majesty shall soon enjoy.
Humphrey, my son of Gloucester, where's the prince, your brother?
I think he's gone to hunt, my lord, at Windsor.
And how accompanied?
I do not know, my lord.
Is not his brother, Thomas of Clarence, with him?
No, my good lord, he is in presence here.
What would my lord and father?
Nothing but well to thee, Thomas of Clarence. How chance thou art not with the prince, thy brother? He loves thee, and thou dost neglect him, Thomas. Thou hast a better place in his affection than all thy brothers. Cherish it, my boy, and noble offices thou mayest effect of mediation after I am dead, between his greatness and thy other brethren. Therefore omit him not, blunt not his love, nor lose the good advantage of his grace by seeming cold or careless of his will. For he is gracious if he be observed. He hath a tear for pity, and a hand open as day for melting charity. Yet, notwithstanding, being incensed, he's flint, as humorous as winter, and as sudden as flaws congealed in the spring of day. His temper, therefore, must be well observed. Chide him for faults, and do it reverently, when you perceive his blood incline to mirth. But, being moody, give him line and scope, till that his passions, like a whale on ground, confound themselves with working. Learn this, Thomas, and thou shalt prove a shelter to thy friends, a hoop of gold to bind thy brothers in, that the united vessel of their blood, mingled with venom of suggestion, as force perforce the age will pour it in, shall never leak, though it do work as strong as aconitum or rash gunpowder.
I shall observe him with all care and love.
Why art thou not at Windsor with him, Thomas?
He is not there today. He dines in London.
And how accompanied? Canst thou tell that?
With Poins and other his continual followers.
Ah, most subject is the fattest soil to weeds. And he, the noble image of my youth, is overspread with them. Therefore my grief stretches itself beyond the hour of death. The blood weeps from my heart when I do shape in forms imaginary the unguided days and rotten times that you shall look upon when I am sleeping with my ancestors. For when his headstrong riot hath no curb, when rage and hot blood are his counsellors, when means and lavish manners meet together, oh, with what wings shall his affections fly towards fronting peril and opposed decay?
My gracious lord, you look beyond him quite. The prince but studies his companions like a strange tongue, wherein to gain the language 'tis needful that the most immodest word be looked upon and learned, which once attained, your highness knows, comes to no further use but to be known and hated. So, like gross terms, the prince will, in the perfectness of time, cast off his followers, and their memory shall as a pattern or a measure live, by which his grace must meet the lives of others, turning past evils to advantages.
Ah, 'tis seldom when the bee doth leave her comb in the dead carrion. Who's here? Westmoreland?
Health to my sovereign, and new happiness added to that I am to deliver. Prince John, your son, doth kiss your grace's hand. Mowbray, the bishop Scroop, Hastings, and all are brought to the correction of your law. There is not now a rebel's sword unsheathed, but peace puts forth her olive everywhere. The manner how this action hath been borne, here at more leisure may your highness read, with every course in his particular.
O Westmoreland, thou art a summer bird, which ever in the haunch of winter sings the lifting up of day. Look, here's more news.
From enemies, heaven keep your majesty, and when they stand against you, may they fall as those that I am come to tell you of. The Earl Northumberland and the Lord Bardolph, with a great power of English and of Scots, are by the Sheriff of Yorkshire overthrown. The manner and true order of the fight this packet, please it you, contains at large.
And wherefore should these good news make me sick? Will fortune never come with both hands full, but write her fair words still in foulest letters? She either gives a stomach and no food, such as the poor in health, or else a feast and takes away the stomach, such are the rich that have abundance and enjoy it not. I should rejoice now at this happy news. And now my sight fails and my brain is giddy. Oh me, come near me. Now I am much ill.
Comfort your majesty.
Oh, my royal father.
My sovereign lord, cheer up yourself. Look up.
Be patient, princes. You do know these fits are with his highness very ordinary. Stand from him. Give him air. He'll straight be well.
No, no, he cannot hold long out. These pangs, the incessant care and labour of his mind, hath wrought the mure that should confine it in so thin that life looks through and will break out.
The people fear me, for they do observe unfathered airs and lovely births of nature. The seasons change their manners, as the year had found some months asleep and leapt them o'er.
The river hath thrice flowed, no ebb between, and the old folk, Time's doting chronicles, say it did so a little time before that our great-grandsire Edward sicked and died.
Speak lower, princes, for the king recovers.
This apoplexy will certain be his end.
I pray you, take me up and bear me hence into some other chamber. Softly pray. Let there be no noise made, my gentle friends, unless some dull and favourable hand will whisper music to my weary spirit.
Call for the music in the other room.
Set me the crown upon my pillow here.
His eye is hollow, and he changes much.
Less noise, less noise.
Who saw the Duke of Clarence?
I'm here, brother, full of heaviness.
Now, reign within doors and none abroad. How doth the king?
Exceeding ill.
Heard he the good news yet? Tell it him.
He altered much upon the hearing it.
If he be sick with joy, he'll recover without physic.
Not so much noise, my lords. Sweet prince, speak low. The king, your father, is disposed to sleep.
Let us withdraw into the other room.
Wilt please your grace to go along with us?
I will sit and watch here by the king. Why doth the crown lie there upon his pillow, being so troublesome a bedfellow? Oh, polished perturbation, golden care, that keeps the ports of slumber open wide to many a watchful night. Sleep with it now, yet not so sound and half so deeply sweet as he whose brow with homely biggin bound snores out the watch of night. O majesty, when thou dost pinch thy bearer, thou dost sit like a rich armor, worn in heat of day, that scald'st with safety. By his gates of breath there lies a downy feather, which stirs not. Did he suspire, that light and weightless down perforce must move. My gracious lord, my father, this sleep is sound indeed. This is a sleep that from this golden rigel hath divorced so many English kings. Thy due from me is tears and heavy sorrows of the blood, which nature, love, and filial tenderness shall, O dear father, pay thee plenteously. My due from thee is this imperial crown, which, as immediate from thy place and blood, derives itself to me. Lo, here it sits, which God shall guard, and put the world's whole strength into one giant arm, it shall not force this lineal honor from me. This from thee will I to mine leave, as 'tis left to me.
Warwick, Gloucester, Clarence!
Doth the king call?
What would your majesty? How fares your grace?
Why did you leave me here alone, my lords?
We left the prince, my brother, here, my liege, who undertook to sit and watch by you.
The Prince of Wales? Where is he? Let me see him. Oh, he is not here.
This door is open. He is gone this way.
He came not through the chamber where we stayed.
Where is the crown? Who took it from my pillow?
When we withdrew, my liege, we left it here.
The prince hath ta'en it hence. Go seek him out. Is he so hasty that he doth suppose my sleep, my death? Find him, my lord of Warwick. Chide him hither. This part of his conjoins with my disease, and helps to end me. See, sons, what things you are, how quickly nature falls into revolt when gold becomes her object. For this the foolish over-careful fathers have broke their sleeps with thoughts, their brains with care, their bones with industry. For this they have engrossed and piled up the cankered heaps of strange achieved gold. For this they have been thoughtful to invest their sons with arts and martial exercises, when, like the bee culling from every flower the virtuous sweets, our thighs packed with wax, our mouths with honey, we bring it to the hive, and, like the bees, are mirthed for our pains. This bitter taste yield his engrossments to the ending, father. Now, where is he that will not stay so long till his friend's sickness hath determined me?
My lord, I found the prince in the next room, washing with kindly tears his gentle cheeks, with such a deep demeanour, in great sorrow, that tyranny, which never quaffed but blood, would, by beholding him, have washed his knife with gentle eye drops. He is coming hither.
But wherefore did he take away the crown? Lo, where he comes. Come hither to me, Harry. Depart the chamber. Leave us here alone.
I never thought to hear you speak again.
I wish was farther, Harry, to that thought. I stay too long by thee. I weary thee. Dost thou so hunger for my empty chair that thou wilt needs invest thee with mine honours before thy hour be ripe? O foolish youth, thou seekst the greatness that will overwhelm thee. Oh, stay but a little, for my cloud of dignity is held from falling with so weak a wind that it will quickly drop. My day is dim. Thou hast stolen that which after some few hours were thine without offence, and at my death thou hast sealed up my expectation. Thy life did manifest thou lovest me not, and thou wilt have me die assured of it. Thou hidest 1,000 daggers in thy thoughts, which thou hast whetted on thy stony heart to stab at half an hour of my life. What? Canst thou not forbear me half an hour? Then get thee gone, and dig my grave thyself, and bid the merry bells ring to thine ear that thou art crowned, not that I am dead. Let all the tears that should bedew my hearse be drops of balm to sanctify thy head. Only compound me with forgotten dust. Give that which gave thee life unto the worms. Pluck down my officers, break my decrees, for now a time is come to mock at form. Harry the Fifth is crowned. Up, vanity, down, royal state. All you sage councillors, hence, and to the English court assemble now from every region, apes of idleness. Now, neighbour confines, purge you of your scum. Have you a ruffian that will swear, drink, dance, revel the night, rob, murder, and commit the oldest sins, the newest kind of ways? Be happy, he will trouble you no more. England shall double gild his treble guilt. England shall give him office, honour, might. For the Fifth Harry from curbed licence plucks the muzzle of restraint, and the wild dog shall flesh his tooth on every innocent. Oh, my poor kingdom, sick with civil blows, when that my care could not withhold thy riots, what wilt thou do when riot is thy care? Oh, thou wilt be a wilderness again, people with wolves, thy old inhabitants.
Oh, pardon me, my liege. But for my tears, the moist impediments unto my speech, I had forestalled this dear and deep rebuke, ere you with grief had spoke, and I had heard the course of it so far. There is your crown, and he that wears the crown immortally long guard it yours. If I affect it more than as your honour and as your renown, let me no more from this obedience rise, which my most true and inward duteous spirit teacheth this prostrate and exterior bending. God witness with me, when I here came in and found no course of breath within your majesty, how cold it struck my heart. If I do feign, oh, let me in my present wildness die, and never live to show the incredulous world the noble change that I have purposed. Coming to look on you, thinking you dead, and dead almost, my liege, to think you were, I spake unto this crown as having sense, and thus upbraided it. The care on thee depending hath fed upon the body of my father. Therefore thou best of gold art worst of gold. Other, less fine in carat, is more precious, preserving life in medicine potable. But thou, most fine, most honoured, most renowned, hast eat thy bearer up. Thus, my most royal liege accusing it, I put it on my head to try with it, as with an enemy that had before my face murdered my father, the quarrel of a true inheritor. But if it did infect my blood with joy, or swell my thoughts to any strain of pride, if any rebel or vain spirit of mine did with the least affection of a welcome give entertainment to the might of it, let God forever keep it from my head, and make me as the poorest vassal is that doth with awe and terror kneel to it.
Oh, my son, God put it in thy mind to take it hence, that thou mightst win the more thy father's love, pleading so wisely in excuse of it. Come hither, Harry. Sit thou by my bed, and hear, I think, the very latest counsel that ever I shall breathe. God knows, my son, by what bypaths and indirect crooked ways I met this crown, and I myself know well how troublesome it sat upon my head. To thee it shall descend with better quiet, better opinion, better confirmation. For all the soil of the achievement goes with me into the earth. It seemed in me but as an honour snatched with boisterous hand, and I had many living to upbraid my gain of it by their assistances, which daily grew to quarrel and to bloodshed, wounding supposed peace. All these bold fears thou seest with peril, I have answered it. For all my reign hath been but as a scene acting that argument, and now my death changes the mood. For what in me was purchased falls upon thee in a more fairer sort, so thou the garland wearest successively. Yet though thou standst more sure than I could do, thou art not firm enough, since griefs are green, and all my friends, which thou must make thy friends, have but their stings and teeth newly ta'en out, by whose fell working I was first advanced, and by whose power I well might lodge a fear to be again displaced, which to avoid I cut them off, and had a purpose now to lead out many to the Holy Land, lest rest and lying still might make them look too near unto my state. Therefore, my Harry, be it thy course to busy giddy minds with foreign quarrels, that action hence borne out may waste the memory of the former days. More would I, but my lungs are wasted so that strength of speech is utterly denied me. How I came by the crown, oh God forgive, and grant it may with thee in true peace live.
My gracious liege, you won it, wore it, kept it, gave it me. Then plain and right must my possession be, which I, with more than with a common pain, against all the world will rightfully maintain.
Look, look, here comes my John of Lancaster.
Health, peace, and happiness to my royal father.
Thou bringst me happiness and peace, son John. But health, alack, with youthful wings is flown from this bare, withered trunk. Upon thy sight, my worldly business makes a period. Where is my Lord of Warwick?
My Lord of Warwick?
Doth any name particular belong unto the lodging where I first did swound?
'Tis called Jerusalem, my noble lord.
Lord be to God, even there my life must end. It hath been prophesied to me many years. I should not die, but in Jerusalem, which vainly I suppose the Holy Land. But bear me to that chamber. There I lie, in that Jerusalem,
sir, you shall not away tonight. What, Davy, I say?
You must excuse me, Master Robert Shallow.
I will not excuse you. You shall not be excused. Excuses shall not be admitted. There is no excuse shall serve. You shall not be excused. Why, Davy!
Yes, sir?
Davy. Let me see, Davy. Let me see. Oh, yeah. Man, William Cook. Bid him come hither. Sir John, you shall not be excused.
Marry, sir, thus those precepts cannot be served. And again, sir, shall we sow the headland with wheat?
With red wheat, Davy. But for William Cook, are there no young pigeons?
Yes, sir. Here is now the smith's note for shoeing and plough irons.
Let it be cast and paid. Sir John, you shall not be excused.
Sir, a new link to the bucket must needs be had. And, sir, do you mean to stop any of William's wages about the sack he lost the other day at Tinkley Fair?
He shall answer it. Some pigeons, Davy. A couple of short-legged hens, a joint of mutton, and any pretty little tiny kickshaws. Tell William Cook.
Doth the man of war stay all night, sir?
Yea, Davy, I will use him well. A friend in the court is better than a penny in purse. Use his men well, Davy, for they are arrant knaves and will backbite.
No worse than they are bitten, sir, for they have marvellous foul linen.
Well conceited, Davy. About thy business, Davy.
No, I beseech you, sir, to countenance William Visor of Wancut against Clement Perks of the Hill.
There are many complaints, Davy, against that Visor. That Visor is an arrant knave, on my knowledge.
I grant your worship that he is a knave, sir, but yet, God forbid, sir, but a knave should have some countenance at his friend's request. An honest man, sir, is able to speak for himself when a knave is not. I have served your worship truly, sir, this 8 years. And if I cannot once or twice in a quarter bear out a knave against an honest man, I have but a very little credit with your worship. The knave is my honest friend, sir. Therefore, I beseech your worship, let him be countenanced.
Go to, I say he shall have no wrong. Look about, Davy. Where are you, Sir John? Come, off with your boots. Give me your hand, Master Bardolph.
I'm glad to see you, worship.
I thank thee with all my heart, kind Master Bardolph, and welcome, my tall fellow. Come, Sir John.
I'll follow you, good Master Robert Shallow. Bardolph, look to our horses. If I were sawed into quantities, I should make 4 dozen of such bearded hermit staves as Master Shallow. It is a wonderful thing to see the semblable coherence of his men's spirits and his. They, by observing of him, do bear themselves like foolish justices. He, by conversing with them, is turned into a justice-like serving man. Their spirits are so married in conjunction with the participation of society that they flock together in consent like so many wild geese. If I had a suit to Master Shallow, I would humour his men with the imputation of being near their master. If to his men, I would curry with Master Shallow, that no man could better command his servants. It is certain that either wise bearing or ignorant carriage is caught, as men take diseases one of another. Therefore let men take heed of their company. I will devise matter enough out of this Shallow to keep Prince Harry in continual laughter, the wearing out of 6 fashions, which is 4 terms, or 2 actions, and he shall laugh without intervallums. Oh, it is much that a lie, with a slight oath, and a jest with a sad brow, will do with a fellow that never had the ache in his shoulders. Oh, you shall see him laugh, till his face be like a wet cloak ill laid up.
Sir John!
I come, Master Shallow. I come, Master Shallow.
How now, my Lord Chief Justice, whither away?
How doth the king?
Exceeding well. His cares are now all ended.
I hope not dead.
He's walked the way of nature, and to our purposes he lives no more.
I would his majesty had called me with him. The service that I truly did his life hath left me open to all injuries.
Indeed, I think the young king loves you not.
I know he does not, and do arm myself to welcome the condition of the time. which cannot look more hideously upon me than I have drawn it in my fantasy.
Here come the heavy issue of dead Harry. Oh, that the living Harry had the temper of him, the worst of these three gentlemen. How many nobles then should hold their places, that must strike sail to spirits of vile sort?
Oh, God, I fear all will be overturned.
Good morrow, cousin Warwick. Good morrow.
Good morrow, cousin.
We meet like men that had forgot to speak.
We do remember, but our argument is all too heavy to admit much talk.
Well, peace be with him that hath made us heavy.
Peace be with us, lest we be heavier.
O good my lord, you have lost a friend indeed, and I dare swear you borrow not that face of seeming sorrow. It is sure your own.
Though no man be assured what grace to find, you stand in coldest expectation. I am the sorrier, would 'twere otherwise.
Well, you must now speak Sir John Falstaff fair, which swims against your stream of quality.
Sweet princes, what I did in honour, led by the impartial conduct of my soul. And never shall you see that I will beg a ragged and forestalled remission. If truth and upright innocency fail me, I'll to the king, my master, that is dead, and tell him who hath sent me after him.
Here comes the prince.
Good morrow, and God save your majesty.
This new and gorgeous garment, majesty, sits not so easy on me as you think. Brothers, you mix your sadness with some fear. This is the English, not the Turkish court. Not Amurath and Amurath succeeds, but Harry, Harry. Yet be sad, good brothers, for by my faith it very well becomes you. Sorrow so royally in you appears, that I will deeply put the fashion on and wear it in my heart. Why then, be sad, but entertain no more of it, good brothers, than a joint burthen laid upon us all. For me, by heaven I bid you be assured, I'll be your father and your brother too. Let me but bear your love, I'll bear your cares. Yet weep that Harry's dead, and so will I. But Harry lives, that shall convert those tears by number into hours of happiness.
We hope no other from your majesty.
Who all look strangely on me, and you most. You are, I think, assured I love you not.
I am assured, if I be measured rightly, your majesty hath no just cause to hate me.
No? How might a prince of my great hopes forget so great indignities you laid upon me? What? Rate, rebuke, and roughly send to prison the immediate heir of England? Was this easy? May this be washed in Lethe and forgotten?
I then did use the person of your father. The image of his power lay then in me, and in the administration of his law, whilst I was busy for the Commonwealth, your highness pleased to forget my place. The majesty and power of law and justice, the image of the king whom I presented, and struck me in my very seat of judgment, whereon, as an offender to your father, I gave bold way to my authority and did commit you. If the deed were ill, be you contented, wearing now the garland, to have a son set your decrees at naught, to pluck down justice from your awful bench, to trip the course of law and blunt the sword that guards the peace and safety of your person. Nay more, to spurn at your most royal image and mock your workings in a second body. Question your royal thoughts, make the case yours. Be now the father and propose a son. Hear your own dignity so much profaned, see your most dreadful laws so loosely slighted. Behold yourself so by a son disdained, and then imagine me taking your part, and in your power soft silencing your son. After this cold considerance, sentence me, and as you are a king, speak in your state what I have done that misbecame my place, my person, or my liege's sovereignty.
You are right, Justice, and you weigh this well. Therefore still bear the balance and the sword. And I do wish your honours may increase till you do live to see a son of mine offend you and obey you, as I did.
so shall I live to speak my father's words. Happy am I that have a man so bold that dares do justice on my proper son, and no less happy having such a son that would deliver up his greatness so into the hands of justice. You did commit me, for which I do commit into your hand the unstained sword that you have used to bear, with this remembrance, that you use the same with the like bold, just, and impartial spirit as you have done against me. There is my hand. You shall be as a father to my youth. My voice shall sound as you do prompt mine ear, and I will stoop and humble my intents to your well-practiced, wise directions. And princes all, believe me, I beseech you, my father is gone wild into his grave, for in his tomb lie my affections, and with his spirit sadly I survive to mock the expectation of the world, to frustrate prophecies, and to raise out rotten opinion, who hath writ me down after my seeming. The tide of blood in me hath proudly flowed in vanity, till now. Now doth it turn, and ebb back to the sea, where it shall mingle with the state of floods, and flow henceforth in formal majesty. Now call we our High Court of Parliament, and let us choose such limbs of noble counsel that the great body of our state may go in equal rank with the best governed nation. That war or peace, or both at once, may be as things acquainted and familiar to us, in which you, Father, shall have foremost hand. Our coronation done, we will excite, as I before remembered, all our state. And, God consigning to my good intents, no prince nor peer shall have just cause to say, God shorten Harry's happy life one day.
There you shall see mine orchard. Fair in an arbour we will eat a last year's pippin of my own grafting, with a dish of caraways and so forth. Come, cousin, silence, and then to bed.
For God, you have here a goodly dwelling, and a rich.
Baron, beggars all, Sir John. Marry good air. Spread, Davy, well said, Davy.
This Davy serves you for good uses. He is your serving man and your husband.
A good varlet, a very good varlet, Sir John. By the mass, I have drunk too much sack at supper. A good varlet. Now sit down. Come, cousin.
Sir Courthope, we shall do nothing but eat and make good cheer, and praise God for the merry year, when flesh is cheap and females dear, and lusty lads roam here and there so merrily, and ever among so merrily.
There's a merry heart, good master. Silence. I'll give you a health for that anon.
Good Master Bardolph, some wine, Davy.
Sweet sir, sit. I'll be with you anon. Most sweet sir, sit. Master Page, good Master Page, sit. Prophets, what you want in meat, we'll have in drink. But you bear the heart's all.
Be merry, Master Bardolph, and my little soldier there, be merry.
Be merry, white page all. For women are shrews, both short and tall, 'tis merry in hall when beards wag all, and welcome merry Shrove tide. Be merry,
I did not think Master Silence had been a man of this metal.
Who, I? Oh, I've been merry twice and once ere now.
There's a dish of leather coats for you.
Davy!
Your worship, I'll be with you straight. A cup of wine, sir?
A cup of wine that's brisk and fine, and drink unto the leman mine, and a merry heart lives longer.
Well said, Master Silence.
We shall be merry, now comes in the sweet of the night.
Health and long life to you, Master Silence.
Fill the cup and let it come, I'll pledge you a mile to the bottom.
Honest Bardolph, welcome if thou want'st anything, and wilt not call, beshrew thy heart. Now, welcome, my little tiny thief, and welcome indeed to, I'll drink to Master Bardolph and to all the cavalieros about London.
I hope to see London once ere I die.
If I might see you there, Davy.
By the mass, you'll crack a quart together. Will you not, Master Bardolph?
Oh, yes, sir, in a pottle pot.
God's liggins, I thank thee. The knave will stick by thee, I can assure thee that. He will not out, he is true bred.
And I'll stick by him, sir.
Why, there spoke a king, lack nothing, be merry. Look, who's at door there, ho? Who knocks?
Why, now you have done me right.
Do me right and done me night, Samingo. It's not so.
'Tis so.
Is it so? Why then, say an old man can do somewhat.
If it please your worship, there's one pistol come from the court with news.
From the court? Let him come in. How now, Pistol?
Sir John, God's sake.
What wind blew you hither, Pistol?
Not the ill wind which blows none too good, sweet knight. Thou art now one of the greatest men in the realm.
By lady, I think he be, but good man Puff, parson.
Puff? Puff in thy teeth, most recreant coward base. Sir John, I am thy pistol and thy friend. Helter-skelter have I rode to thee, and tidings do I bring, and lucky joys, and golden times, and happy news of price.
I pray thee now deliver them like a man of this world.
A future for the world and worldlings base. I speak of Africa and golden joy.
O base Assyrian knight, what is thy news? Let King Cophetua know the truth thereof.
And Robin Hood, Scarlet and John.
Shall dunghill curs confront the Helicons, and shall good news be baffled? Then, Pistol, lay thy head in Fury's lap.
Honest gentleman, I know not your breeding.
Why then lament therefore?
Give me pardon, sir. If, sir, you come with news from the court, I take it there is but two ways, either to utter them or to conceal them. I am, sir, under the king in some authority.
Under which king? Bisonium, speak or die.
Under King Harry.
Harry the Fourth or Fifth?
Harry the Fourth.
A future for thine office. Sir John, thy tender lambkin now is king. Harry the Fifth's the man, I speak the truth. When Pistol lies, do this, and fig me like the bragging Spaniard.
What? Is the old king dead?
As nail in door. The things I speak are just.
Away, Bardolph. Huh? Saddle my horse. Master Robert Shallow, choose what office thou wilt in the land, 'tis thine. Pistol, I will double charge thee with dignities.
Oh, joyful day! I would not take a knighthood for my fortune. What? I do bring good news.
Carry Master Silence to bed. Master Shallow, my Lord Shallow, be what thou wilt, I am Fortune's steward. Get on thy boots, we'll ride all night. Oh, sweet Pistol, away, Bardolph. Come, Pistol, utter more to me, and withal devise something to do thyself good. Boot, boot, Master Shallow. I know the young king is sick for me. Let us take any man's horses. The laws of England are at my commandment. Blessed are they that have been my friends. And woe unto my Lord Chief Justice.
Let vultures vile seize on his lungs also. Where is the life that late I led, say they? Why, here it is. Welcome these pleasant days.
No, thou arrant knave. I would to God that I might die, that I might have thee hanged. Thou'st drawn my shoulder out of joint.
The constables have delivered her over to me, and she shall have whipping cheer enough, I warrant her. There hath been a man or two lately killed about her.
Nottock, you lie. Come on, I'll tell you what. Thou damned tripe-visaged rascal. If the child I now go with do miscarry, thou'dst better thou had struck thy mother, thou paper-faced villain.
Oh, the Lord that Sir John were come. He would make this a bloody day to somebody. But I pray God the fruit of her womb might miscarry.
If it do, she shall have a dozen of cushions again. You have but 11 now. Come. I charge you both go with me, for the man is dead that you and Pistol beat amongst you.
I'll tell thee what, thou thin man in a censer. I will have you as soundly swinged for this, you blue butter rogue, you filthy famished correctioner. If you be not swinged, I'll forswear half-cut.
Come, you she-knight errant. Come.
Oh, God, that right should thus overcome might. Well, of sufferance comes ease.
Come, you rogue, come. Bring me to a justice.
Yes. Come, you starved bloodhound.
Good man, Death. Good man, Bones.
Thou anatomy, thou.
Come, you thin thing. Come, you rascal.
Very well.
More rushes!
The trumpets are sounding twice.
It will be 2 o'clock ere they come from the coronation.
Stand here by me, Master Robert Shallow. I will make the king do you grace. I will leer upon him as he comes by, and do but mark the countenance that he will give me.
God bless thy lungs. Good night.
Come here, pistol. Stand behind me. Oh, if I had had time to have made new liveries, I would have bestowed the £1,000 I borrowed of you. But it is no matter. This poor show doth better. This doth infer the zeal I had to see him.
It does so.
It shows my earnestness in affection.
It does so.
My devotion.
It does.
As it were, to ride day and night, and not to deliberate, not to remember, not to have patience to shift me.
It is most certain.
But to stand stained with travel, and sweating with desire to see him, thinking of nothing else, putting all affairs in oblivion, as if there were nothing else to be done but to see him.
'Tis semper idem, for obsque hoc nihil est. 'Tis all in every part.
'Tis so indeed.
My knight, I will inflame thy noble liver and make thee rage. Thy doll and Helen of thy noble thoughts is in base durance and contagious prison. Hail to thee the thy most mechanical and dirty hand. Rouse up revenge from Ebon Den. With fell elector's snake for doll is in. Pistol speaks naught but truth.
I will deliver.
There roared the sea and trumpet clangor sounds.
God save thy grace, King Hal, my royal Hal!
The heavens be guard and keep most royal in the faith.
God save thee, my sweet boy! My Lord Chief Justice, speak to that vain man.
Have you your wits? Know you what 'tis you speak?
My king, my Jove, I speak to thee, my heart.
I know thee not, old man. Fall to thy prayers. How ill white hairs become a fool and jester. I have long dreamed of such a kind of man, so surfeit-swelled, so old and so profane. But being awake, I do despise my dream. Make less thy body hence, and more thy grace. Leave gormandizing. Know the grave doth gape for thee thrice wider than for other men.
Reply not to me with a fool-born jest. Presume not that I am the thing I was, for God doth know, so shall the world perceive, that I have turned away my former self. So will I those that kept me company. When thou dost hear I am as I have been, approach me, and thou shalt be as thou wast, the tutor and the feeder of my rights. Till then, I banish thee, on pain of death, as I have done the rest of my misleaders, not to come near our person by 10 mile.
For competence of life, I will allow you that lack of means enforce you not to evil. And as we hear you do reform yourselves, we will, according to your strength and qualities, give you advancement.
Be it your charge, my lord, to see performed the tenor of our word. Set on.
Master Shallow, I owe you £1,000.
Aye, marry, Sir John, which I beseech you to let me have home with me.
That can hardly be, Master Shallow. Do not you grieve at this. I shall be sent for in private to him. Look you, he must seem thus to the world. Fear not your advancement. I will be the man yet that shall make you great.
I cannot well perceive how, unless you should give me your doublet and stuff me out with straw. I beseech you, good Sir John, let me have 500 of my 1,000.
Sir, I will be as good as my word. This that you heard was but a colour.
A colour I fear that you will die in, Sir John.
Oh, I fear no colours. Go with me to dinner. Come, Lieutenant Pistol. Come, Bardolph. I shall be sent for soon. At night.
Go carry Sir John Falstaff to the fleet. Take all his company along with him.
My lord. My lord.
I cannot now speak. I will hear you soon. Take them away.
Si fortuna me tormento, spira me contento.
I like this fair proceeding of the king's. He hath intent his wonted followers shall all be very well provided for, but all are banished, till their conversations appear more wise and modest to the world.
And so they are.
The king hath called his parliament, my lord.
He hath.
I will lay odds that ere this year expire, we bear our civil swords and native fire as far as France. I heard a bird so sing, whose music to my thinking pleased the king. Come, will you hence?
First, my fear, then my courtesy, last, my speech. My fear is your displeasure, my courtesy, my duty, and my speech to beg your pardons. If you look for a good speech now, you undo me. For what I have to say is of mine own making, and what indeed I should say will, I doubt, prove mine own marring. But to the purpose, and so to the venture. Be it known to you, as it is very well, I was lately here in the end of a displeasing play to pray your patience for it, and to promise you a better. I did mean indeed to pay you with this, which, if like an ill venture it come unluckily home, I break, and you, my gentle creditors, lose. Here I promised you I would be, and here I commit my body to your mercies. Bate me some, and I will pay you some, and, as most debtors do, promise you infinitely. If my tongue cannot entreat you to acquit me, will you command me to use my legs? And yet that were but light payment to dance out of your debt. But a good conscience will make any possible satisfaction, and so would I. All the gentlewomen here have forgiven me. If the gentlemen will not, then the gentlemen do not agree with the gentlewomen, which was never seen before in such an assembly. One word more, I beseech you. If you be not too much cloyed with fat meat, our humble author will continue the story, with Sir John in it, and make you merry with fair Catherine of France, where, for anything I know, Falstaff shall die of a sweat, unless already he be killed with your hard opinions. For old Castle died a martyr, and this is not the man. My tongue is weary. When my legs are too, I will bid you good night, and so kneel down before you